Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot and live.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Chris, and welcome to today's play-by-play version of the Sharpie 500 here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Before it was known as the Nascar Coliseum, this place was known as Thunder Valley, and this is a track and really a race where everybody wants to go to at least once in their life, and this is definitely one of those races that is going to stay this way until possibly the end of time, I'm pretty sure. But this definitely should be an exciting one, and considering the last race that we had at the Rowdy Forever 400 in Michigan, this race, it's got a lot to live up to. So it's gonna be an exciting one to see if it can do it. But before we jump into anything else today, let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings going into today's race. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car in a race for tribute to Kyle Busch, he ended up winning the race. He got his second win of the season, became the 4th different multi-time winner, and it kind of shaked up the points a little bit, but it added some new names to the list of drivers that are going to be competing for the championship. But Zachary Smithley, still going into today's race, is the points leader by now 459 points ahead of Jeff Gordon once again in P2. Then you got his teammate Jimmy Johnson following suit in 3rd, Ryan Newman in 4th, Ricky Rudd in 5th, Kurt Busch in 6th, Matt Kenseth in 7th, last race winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8th now, Bill Elliott in 9th, and Kevin Harvick on a resurgence as of late, rounding out the top 10 in points. And then Jeff Green finds himself 11th in points with Jeff Byrne in 12th, Dale Jarrett in 13th, Jamie McMurray 14th, Bobby Labonte in 15th, Mark Martin in 16th, Jerry Nadeau in 17th, Tony Stewart in 18th, Michael Waltrip in 19th, and Jeremy Mayfield rounding out the top 20. And then for the top 30, you got Terry Labonte in 21st, Sterling Marlin 22nd, Greg Biffle 23rd, Rusty Wallace 24th, Tony Raines 25th, John Andretti 26th, Elliott Sadler 27th, John Nemechek 28th, Case Mears 29th, Johnny Benson at 30th. And we'll scroll through the top 40, top 50, and top 60 very, very quick because, well, fuel is about to end, but just because that ends doesn't mean that the race won't end because we haven't even started it yet. So let's go ahead and get to the starting lineup for the start of today's race. So here we are on the starting lineup on the front stretch here at Bristol. I think it's pretty cool that we're here. But let's take a look at who is starting where. As in row number 1, it is Jimmy Johnson winning the pole here at Bristol. He won this race in the spring earlier in the year, so he is looking to pull off the Bristol sweep, kind of like how he pulled off the Dover sweep last year in his rookie season. And to his outside is Tony Stewart, still looking for that first win of the season. It is crazy to say that still. In row number 2, you will find Kurt Busch, who's also still searching for his first win of the season, and Jeff Gordon. Row 3, you will find Gordon's teammate Terry Labonte in row 3, and to his outside will be Jeff Green, who, after the Glen, has been on a bit of a bounce back, and he's doing a real of a job. He starts outside row 3. Row 4, you'll find the Roush duo of Matt Kenseth and Mark Martin, who finished a heartbreaking 2nd after dominating Michigan last time out, but he's looking to maybe get some redemption today. Row 5, Michigan winner Dale Earnhardt Jr., and to his outside, Jerry Nadeau. Row 6 today, you will find Jeremy Mayfield, and to his outside, Kevin Harvick, who is doing really, really well as of late, and he's kind of had the summer of resurgence for that number 29 GM Good Run Chevy. In row 7 today, you will find Tony Raines, who needs to have some good finishes pretty much towards the end of the season if he wants that rumor of him going to RCR to still be around, and to his outside is Ryan Newman. Row 8 today, you will find Joe Nemechek and Sterling Marlin. Row 9 today, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Bill Elliott, and to his outside is Elliott Sadler. Row 10 today, you will find Robby Gordon and Dale Jarrett. Row 11, Bobby Labonte and the rookie Jamie McMurray. Row 12 today, you will find Ricky Rudd and Rusty Wallace. Row 13 today, you will find Dave Blaney and Michael Waltrip. Row 14 today, Michigan native Johnny Benson will be on the inside of row 14, and to his outside will be Zachary Smithley, the current NASCAR Winston Cup Series point leader. He's looking to extend his lead today, but he may not have a lot of high hopes considering where he finished the first time around here, but a lot could change considering that this will be a night race and the track is going to be a lot more different compared to the spring. Row 15 today, you will find yet another duo for Roush Racing. It is Jeff Burton and Greg Biffle. Row 16 today, it is Jack Sprague and Jimmy Spencer. Row 17 today will be Ricky Craven and War Burton. Row 18 today will be Casey Mears and Todd Bodine. Row 19, it is Steve Park and Kyle Petty. Row 20, Kenny Wallace and John Andretti. Row 21 will be Ken Schrader and Brett Bodine making his first start since, I believe, the first Bristol race, funnily enough. And round of the field at row 22, it is Mike Skinner. Then we have 5 D&Qs for today's race, those being Jason Keller, who almost made the field but missed out. Mike Wallace was trying to keep the hot streak of him making races going, but it unfortunately failed in the qualifying yesterday. So unfortunately, he didn't make the field, and he is also joined by the other rookie, Larry Foyt, who hasn't really been having the best of luck in qualifying this season. Derek Cope is another one, and Kirk Shelmerdine has reappeared after not competing or not trying to qualify for the previous couple races. They have a little bit of track information for today. So the pit window should be around lap 60 to 66. Tires will be around lap 60 to 64, depending on how good you can savor them and not use them up as much. And fuel will be around lap 61 to 66. Now, the fuel, you really don't have to refuel in this race. However, when you make that first stop, you may as well fuel up and try to get yourself to the end of the race anyways. So probably be a good idea around the time that you pit to not only just get tires, but get some fuel as well, because there's not a guarantee that you will have enough fuel by the end of the race. And speaking of which, with it being nighttime here later on, there will be more grip added to the racetracks. Track's going to be more slick, and the drivers are going to be sliding around a lot. They're probably going to be sliding around a lot so far when we go racing later on. And just like in the spring, there will be some multi-groove racing. Who's going to run the bottom, who's going to run the middle, and who's going to run the top around Bristol to try to gain the biggest advantage of them all and try to get their way to the front. And the question we've been asking all season long is, will there be a new winner or a new multi-time winner? As so far, it is Zachary Smithley leading the way with 8 wins on the season, Jeff Byrne with 3, Ryan Newman with 2, and after last race in Michigan, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now the 4th driver to add his name to the list of multi-time winners at 4 now. Then Bill Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Jay McMurray, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd, and Bobby Labonte are the other ones with a single digit. But let's head down to the TNT.
On pit road, short track, tight pit road. Driver has to know, am I pitting under green? Is it under caution? Am I on the front stretch? Am I on the back stretch? Am I blocking by the guy in front of me? Do I have to stop short? Do I want to block in the guy in front of me? The racing is hectic. The pitting is even more exciting. We'll see what happens on pit road when they start coming down now.
Boy, what a sight.
And you're right. You'll see guys on the pits when we see them pitting. There'll be guys taking cheap shots at the other guys, trying to block the guy in that's behind them. The angle in the car, that helps them get out clean, but it also blocks the guy behind them, BP.
Yeah,
You've never done that, have you?
No, the thing they care least about is blocking that guy behind them to get out.
Right. Because they need to get out.
How about some storylines we're going to follow tonight? We'll count the total number of temper tantrums.
Okay, we'll count those.
That'll be fun.
I believe that'll be over our yellow number.
Yeah.
Fuel factor, how far will they go? It's all, again, we're going to talk about that going to the final. How many laps can they run? Maybe 325. They'll make that last pit stop.
And can Matt Kenseth escape Thunder Valley with his Winston Cup championship lead as much as he's gotten tonight? Glad you're with us. The night race at Bristol is under green.
It's a quick first lap around here at Bristol, and Jimmy Johnson will lead the opening lap here, the Sharpie 500. Just behind Johnson, you'll see Kurt Busch in the 97 and Terry Labonte in the 5. Seems like Tony Stewart did not get the start that he wanted, as he is faded a ways back, I should say, as he is not really towards the front, which is unfortunate for that Home Depot Chevy. Yeah, he's all the way back towards where Dale Jr.'s at, which is about the 6th or 7th position. But Jimmy Johnson got the launch he needed, got the run he needed, and he is leading. Ahead of Kurt Busch, ahead of, like we said, Kurt Busch and Terry Labonte, but there's Jeff Gordon in 4th, Matt Kenseth right there in P5. Then you got Earnhardt Jr. 6th, Tony Stewart 7th, Jared Mayfield in 8th, Jeff Green in 9th, and I believe it was Ryan Newman that was rounding out the top 10. You see Tony Stewart going at it on Dale Earnhardt Jr., trying to grab the 6th spot away. He gets, dirt tracking on the bottom for Tony Stewart, trying to get around the inside of Dale Jr. He does complete the pass, and now Jeremy Mayfield's going to follow suit. Try up as Earnhardt Jr. Here comes Jeff Green doing the exact same thing. Jr., unfortunately, that outside line is not working for him too well so far in this race. But the further we get into the night, that outside line might be the best friend for a lot of these drivers. So we got to keep that in mind. As Jr. falls back to 9th, and Newman's going to try to go after him, as Jr. doesn't want to fall down to 10th, but he might just have to give it up. And it may not seem like that long, but we are closing in on lap 8. So as Johnson comes off turn 4 to the start-finish line, let's do a lap 8 tribute for Kyle Busch. Like we said, it was a pretty fast lap 8, so doing it as fast as we did compared to, well, Michigan was a bit interesting. And here in a little bit, when we get to Greg Biffle's special lap, it's going to go by just as quick as we look back to Mark Martin, Tony Raines going at it. There you see Zachary. He's already made his way up through the field a little bit. The current Winston Cup points leader gets a little bit loose off turn 4, but he holds it. Held it really well. But Zachary Smithley, he is going to try everything he possibly can to get as many points as he can on the guys behind him in points, like Jimmy Johnson currently leading, and Jeff Gordon. But if he can, he's going to try to mitigate the amount of points lost, which is probably going to be his main thing that he's going to be doing tonight. If we look back to Jerry Nadeau, as he ended up passing both Labonte and Johnny Benson. You see Labonte and Marlin get to the inside of Benson and pass him. Looks back to Rudd, Sprague, and McMurray. Rudd's kind of stuck up there on the high line. The outside line not working well for these drivers this early in the going, so that might be a big indicator that maybe towards the middle part of the race, the outside line will actually be... Oh, into the wall goes Craven! Craven went 3 wide with Rusty and Biffle. Tags the outside wall. It seems like he's got a little bit of damage on the right front of the Tide Pontiac. Let's call it the Tide 4 for some reason. I don't know why. We still got Pontiacs. But it seems like he might be alright. He's going to keep on trucking. Look back further ahead to Zachary Smithley once again. Like we said, he's going to try to mitigate the amount of points he's going to lose possibly after tonight. So he's going to try to get as many positions as he can. But he's also going to try to savor his tires as much as he can. He's going to work on the #1 Pennzoil Chevy of Robby Gordon, who's had a bit of a career resurgence as of late, ever since joining that DEI #1 car. As this we're heading on lap 16 now. Y'all know the drill. Lap 16 tribute to Biff. And as Johnson completes the lap 16 tribute, Zachary Smithley is going to get around the outside of Robby Gordon to grab the spot. Now he's going to try to go after Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, looks like Bill Ellie in the 9, and I believe there's another car. Yep, it was Tony Raines, the 74. You see Craven coming off a pit road after assessing the damage and repairing it. So he'll be back out and away. Jerry Mayfield working on Dale Jr. Mayfield having a pretty good run so far. I haven't talked about him as much since really the start of the summer at the first Michigan race. Thought we'd talk about him more. But the main guy we've mainly been talking about all summer long is that Napa Chevy of Zachary Smithley, who's been able to pull away with the points lead since the summer began. Really after the Coca-Cola 600, so he's been on a roll as of late. We look further ahead. See Matt Kenseth still behind Jeff Gordon, but these guys the leaders have caught lap traffic now. These leaders got to pay attention. They got to be careful. They got to figure out where to go, where to place their cars, and really where to not make the biggest mistakes, to lose ground or lose positions. You see Kurt Busch getting caught behind Kenny, and that's not really going to help him out. He's going to run that higher line, see if it's gripped up enough to get a run on Kenny. He gets a really good run off of turn 4, so maybe the outside line has started to form in the middle of 3 and 4. You see all that shade down there on 1 and 2 is going to grip the track a lot more. It's going to make it a lot more slick. And there's a little bit of a shade patch going into turn 3, but not much. It's still pretty much sunny down there in 3 and 4. But as the night continues on, the sun will go down, the track will get dark, the lights will go on, and grip is just going to keep going up and up and up. As we see Kenseth now taking 3rd away from Terry Labonte. Matt Kenseth still trying to search for that first one of 2003. And Kenseth genuinely believes that he has the car to win tonight, but he's got to not only get around this lap traffic, but he's also got to catch his teammate Kurt Busch, who also thinks he can win tonight. And same for Jimmy Johnson, who he believes he can win tonight as well, because that is the exact same car they brought from the spring. So Jimmy Johnson taking his spring car that he took to victory lane with here at Bristol, and he is led all 24 laps here eventually. He'll lead all 24. As we're coming on to lap 25, he'll have led 24 laps already. He's working that higher line now. I believe he got word that Kurt Busch was able to use it. Brett Bodine back there got on the wall a little bit after contact with Casey Mears. It seems like it's okay, though. He keeps on going. Kenseth passes Kurt Busch as he got stuck behind his rival Jimmy Spencer. Jimmy Johnson, though, he's going to go right back to the bottom. Had a lot of momentum that he could really cut down in front of Skinner and grab the spot and hold it. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson, he used that outside line. He saw what Kurt Busch did earlier to pass Kenny Wallace and repass Terry Labonte to keep second, excuse me. And he used it to get around a couple lap cars as well. As right now, the Roush duo of Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch are stuck behind the lap traffic. Kurt's kind of stuck up on the outside, but he doesn't have anybody up there. Spencer, who would be in front of him, he is now out ahead, but now Todd Bodine jumped to the outside. That's going to compromise Kurt a lot more, but that's going to be a wonderful sight for Matt Kenseth. Going to be an even more wonderful sight because he's going to be able to get around Mike Skinner, but Kurt Busch, he is not happy. Let's just say that much. He is not happy at the fact that he just got caught behind yet another lap car and lost the spot to Terry Labonte. But all these cars, including all the way back to Zachary Smithley, are catching these leaders, and they're all stuck behind lap traffic. Kurt is still stuck behind Skinner. He could get down in front of Jeff Green, but door closes a little too late for Kurt Busch. So he wasn't able to drop to the inside and get around Skinner, but he's going to continue to lose more and more and more positions. You see Zachary Smithley, he's making his way through. He just passed Joe Nemechek in the 25. Does Tony take the bottom? He does. So he's going to go right to the bottom, more the middle, but he's going to go right around the 97 to Kurt. Kurt has the door open. Zachary didn't get a good run off of turn 2 because of that. So Kurt drops the inside, drops right in front of Zach. He got to the inside of Tony Stewart in the process. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman has third, but not for long as that goes down to Jeff Gordon. Lots of passes being made. You got to love Bristol. Jeff Green follows Jeff Gordon. So the Jeffs are now 3 and 4. As you see, Kenseth actually closed the gap on Jimmy Johnson, trying to grab the lead away. Kenny doing a little bit of 1 and 2. He gets a little bit out ahead. Spencer drops him, goes right in front of Johnson. Going to slow up Johnson in 3 and 4. That's going to help Kenseth. New leader, Matt Kenseth at Bristol. Kenseth gets to the inside of the 45 of Kyle Petty, trying to put him a lap down. Try to put 3 cars in between himself and Jimmy Johnson. There's still a ways to go in this race. But he wants to maybe see if he can try to pull away and put a little bit of distance on Johnson. We'll have to see if that works out. But Johnson, he's already passed Spencer and Petty. Now he's going to try to get to the 43 of Andretti and pass him. Kenseth's a little bit slow down the back. Well, you can kind of see the back of Kenseth's car wiggling a little bit. See Jeff Gordon and Jeff Green back there. Some interesting things to note after the Michigan race, after Zachary Smithley and Jeff Gordon had their little altercation during and almost after the race. NASCAR sat both drivers down and said, we won't penalize you, but if you guys do wreck each other in a matter that seems on purpose, or that is deemed on purpose from us, we will penalize you guys in a very harsh manner. We don't know exactly what they mean by that, but it is not going to be pretty if either of them wreck either of them, or either of each other rather, ever again. And also with Zachary Smithley's or NASCAR's controversial decision to give Zachary's lap back towards the end of the Michigan race last time out, NASCAR has now introduced a new thing called the Lucky Dog and the Wave Around. As now drivers with a caution comes out, driver who is the first car lap down will be given the Lucky Dog, and the Wave Around will be it will be implemented. As you see, Kurt Busch jumps to the inside of Zachary Smithley. Speaking of Zach, and he goes right around. A beautiful move by Kurt Busch to grab the position back on Zachary. That's for 10th position. So Zachary's having a good race, but Kurt Busch, he is a little bit annoyed because he was pushed so far down the order that he's just going to be going now. He's frustrated. He's going. And Jimmy Johnson, who re-overtook Matt Kenseth to grab the lead a few laps ago, as we were talking about Zachary and Jeff Gordon. He's going to continue marching along, but it seems like that 17 DeWalt Ford of Matt Kenseth is going to be his main rival and main contender tonight. Jeff Gordon and Jeff Green might also be that way too, but we'll just have to wait and see. But back on the Wave Around, the Wave Around will be applied only to the drivers that stay out, and if all the leaders in front pit, if one of the leaders doesn't pit, nobody will get the Wave Around. And if a driver that will be getting the Wave Around does pit, they won't be given the Wave Around because they've essentially just pitted with the leaders, and now they can't be given the Wave Around. The Wave Around won't be applied to them. So that is one of the few things that NASCAR has implemented in for the rest of this season, from this race all the way to Homestead, and all the way into 2004 and beyond. As we see Jeff Green and Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, John Nemechek, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There you see Kurt Busch and Terry Labonte. All 6 cars under a blanket of one another. The battle for 4th, really, between these 6, or 7 rather. It's more, yeah, 7 drivers. Holy! Because now Kurt Busch has definitely joined the frame, but they are stuck behind the 45 of Kyle Petty. Jeff Green can't go anywhere. Harvick can't go anywhere. Kyle Petty's kind of putting his car annoyingly for them in the middle of the track. As a matter of fact, I forgot Tony was up to 4th. They were battling for 5th. Here goes Kenseth. Oh, Johnson. Johnson, they went a little bit deeper into 3 and 4, and I think Ward Burton actually helped him out with that a little bit. He kind of slowed up Kenseth. It's going to allow Johnson to hold the lead. Kenseth's going to have to try to gather it all back up, go after Ward Burton, and then continue his charge after Jimmy Johnson. Johnson trying to become the 5th different driver this season to win multiple races, and the first driver so far this season to win both Bristol races and sweep both Bristol races in a season, just like he did back at Dover in 2002. Almost said 2023. We're very far away from that. Look even further back now, you see some of the you see 4 of the lappers in front of Jeff Green and Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch. Those 7 cars that were fighting it out for P5 now turn into 4. There you see Harvick back there. There's Nemechek. Zachary's actually past the 5 of Terry Labonte. So Zach's now backside the top 10, but Zach misses the bottom, and that's gonna open the door for Terry Labonte to grab the position right back on Zach. Another move that Zachary did not want to be made on him, but it ended up being made on him no matter what. That's another position loss for Zach, but Zach's just gonna try to see what he can do from here on out. As they're almost 3 wide in turn 2. Junior tags the wall a little bit. He kind of gave it a little kiss. I don't think it's too bad of damage on the right side of that car. The right front isn't bent as much. He should be okay, and it doesn't look like the right front is bent in or anything like that, so it definitely was like a little bit of a tap of the wall. Didn't make too much contact with Spencer, didn't make too much contact with the wall. That 8 car seems to be pretty good. But Spencer is not making this easy on his rival Kurt Busch, as Kurt's trying to get around him so he can run after Jeff Green, who currently sits in 5th. You see Jeff Byrne was down pit road. But meanwhile, the battle for 3rd between Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, may want to watch out for these two. These two had their run-in about a couple years ago, and they don't want to repeat that this time around. The little run-in was with Jeff, resulting in Jeff Gordon tagging the back end of Tony Stewart and spitting him out. And then it resulted in an altercation at the end of the race between the two. You see Tony gets a good run on the outside, trying to grab the spot over Gordon, trying to grab 3rd. Tony has a really good car tonight. I think he could do something with it. That shade, I believe, is helping Tony, as there's a lot more now down the back straightaway. Not so much at 3. But it's going to give Tony the momentum on the outside to grab 3rd away from Jeff Gordon, drop to the inside, complete the pass. And now Tony Stewart back on charge. He's in 3rd. See Jeff Byrne, who just came out of the pits, now trying to work on his teammate, Matt Kenseth. He's not fighting Kenseth for any position. This might hurt Kenseth a little bit, but Johnson, he is stuck behind the lapper of Johnny Benson, so to be honest with you, the front 2 are kind of in their own little issues that they've got going on. Johnson with Benson, and funnily enough, Kenseth with his teammate Jeff Burton. Burton actually passed Kenseth, I believe, with ease. I don't think Kenseth gave him too much of a fight, but Benson actually gave Johnson the outside, but Johnson didn't really do much with it. Here comes Burton. We'll see what Burton does. Jeff Burton, he's 6 behind the 48 of Johnson. I believe here in a little bit, some drivers are going to be making their first pit stops. I think Johnson and his team are thinking about it. They are most definitely going to come down here, and I believe about 2 to 3 laps, maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit sooner. You can just tell that Jeff Byrne has a lot more fresher tires and just rolls right around the outside of that 48 car. Passes him with ease, and he's not really able to hold him up as much. Maybe it's not much of Matt Kenseth's liking, but to be honest, Byrne couldn't really do much. He's got fresher tires, and he's got his own race really to run. But he did come on to pit road with damage, so that could have been one of the main factors. As we did actually end up having our first taker come down pit road. We'll actually get a pit cam right here, and it is Jeff Green who came down pit road. So Jeff Green was the first car to come down pit road, grab 4 tires, fill up the tank with enough fuel to make it to the end of the race, and that is Jeff Green out and away. So Jeff Burton, I guess you could say, kind of instigated the pit stops as we see Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Terry Labonte coming in, but it seems like Jimmy Johnson is coming as well. Yep, the race leader Jimmy Johnson came in. 3rd place Tony Stewart came in. Matt Kenseth does stay out. He now comes in. And the beauty with Bristol is that there's 2 areas where pit stops can be made, and there's one on the front stretch you see on the right-hand side. Here on the left-hand side, we got the back stretch. Got 2 pit stops going on at the same time. Got a bunch of stuff going on at the same time. To be honest with you, this is pretty dang cool. So you see Johnson coming out of the pits. The only drivers that haven't pit are the 2 leaders, and Ryan Newman and Zachary Smithley. Robby Gordon just came down pit road. Lots of drivers coming out of the pits there. You see Kenseth coming out. Bit of smoke. Couldn't quite tell who that was, but there was some smoke, I believe, down there in the pits. Kind of hard to tell who that was. You see Kenseth has a lot fresher tires, and he's actually going to gain a lot of time on Ryan Newman. So the difference in old tires versus new tires is very, very apparent. And to be honest with you, with Johnson pitting not that long after Matt Kenseth, or with Matt Kenseth not pitting that long after Jimmy Johnson, who knows how big of a difference it's going to make as we see Zachary Smithley coming down pit road after Jeff Burton just made his pit stop. Got a couple of the takers down the back straightaway. Ryan Newman does, in fact, stay out. See, Benson does come in. Newman still just decides to stay out, which is a bit of an interesting decision as we see Kurt Busch is slow on the apron. Oh no, what happened to Kurt? Oh, he's got so much damage on the right side of his car. Oh no, Kurt Busch had such a good car, and it looked like he was going to be one of the main contenders as now Ryan Newman has come down pit road. But Kurt Busch, with a lot of damage on the right side of the car, is essentially out of contention for the win. What in the world, man? It's such a shame for Kurt Busch. He had a really, really strong car tonight, and there was a possibility he could have taken it to Johnson or... Oh, a little contact between Burton and Zach, and Zachary's going to show his displeasure with Burton not giving him any room, and Zachary gets loose again. He saved it twice. Oh, he dirt tracks it in turns 1 and 2, and he saves it again. Oh my lord, and I think Burton and Jarrett just tagged the wall. Or rather, I think Burton tagged the wall, and Jarrett just slammed to the side of him. Oh my lord almighty. A couple more cars coming out of the pits. Those are Spencer and Robby Gordon. You see Zachary making a 3 wide with Dale Jarrett and Sterling Marlin. He stacked up Dale Jarrett so much in turn 3. That's going to allow Jeff Gordon to get around Tony Stewart, grab the position. That's going to put Gordon up to 3rd as we look to the leaders. As Bill Elliott's slow as well. I think Bill Elliott's got problems on the right side. He does. He also got into a little scuffle or a little bit of an incident with somebody, and now his right side of his car is damaged, and he is effectively out of having a good finish tonight. That is 2 good cars that are out of it. First one with Kurt, and the next one with Bill Elliott. What a heartbreak for those 2. See more cars coming down pit road. Skinner, I believe, came down to maybe just do a normal 4-tire pit stop. Don't think he had any damage. Here comes Kenseth on the inside of Jimmy Johnson, trying to grab the lead away. He does, in fact, do it. Matt Kenseth is back out front here at Bristol. And here's the interesting thing so far in this race. There is no more sunshine peeking through the track, hitting these corners, or hitting the straightaways. This track is now in complete darkness. The lights will come on here sometime soon because the sun hasn't fully went down. But in turn, what this now means is that this track is a lot more grippier, and these cars are going to be a lot more slick because of it too. So these drivers got to really pay attention to that. We didn't have this the first time in the spring race at Bristol, but we do have it here. Like I said, these drivers got to watch out, pay attention to it, because you never really know what's going to happen around here at Bristol as Kenseth continues to lead ahead of Johnson, ahead of Gordon. But Johnson isn't quite going away. He's still kind of keeping a relatively safe distance from Kenseth, but I also think that Kenseth is going to have a little bit of an issue because there's a bunch of lap traffic, and one of those lap cars is Johnson's teammate, Terry Labonte. It seems like Terry's not going to really make it too difficult on Kenseth. He gives him the outside, but the problem is that Kenseth can't really go anywhere, and neither can really Terry Labonte. It's mainly just Ricky Craven and Bill Elliott slowing Kenseth up. Johnson will jump to the outside, as he jumps to the middle. It looks like he jumps right to the middle. Does he make it 3? He thought about it. You definitely see the back of Johnson's car wiggling, indicating that he got on the brakes, got out of that, and decided to not make that decision. You see Johnson goes right around the outside of Kenseth off turn 4. Johnson back out front. Now he's behind his teammate, Terry Labonte. He's going to try to see if Labonte can pull him through. Here comes Kenseth. He jumps to the outside. There's a bunch of other fast cars coming up behind the leaders. One of them is the point leader, Zachary Smithly. Look at him. He peaked up a little bit in the top right. There he is again. Zachary Smithly's got a pretty fast car. The left side of his car, though, is a little bit damaged. He may have made a little bit of contact, we believe, we're being told from Mark Martin. Another 3-wide move by Zachary. What in the world? Craven got shown the door by Zachary Smithly, and in turn lost momentum. But Zachary getting past 2 cars. He's trying to get his lap back. Currently, he's a lap down to Jimmy Johnson. Jumps to the inside of Johnson. Johnson's going to try to hold it. Zachary was going to hold up Kenseth, but Zachary knows that Johnson is in the title fight, but also so is Kenseth. If the race ends the way we think it might, if Kenseth wins, Kenseth's going to be in contention for the title. Johnson might sit second coming out of tonight, but Zachary Smithly, he doesn't even care about what these two might want him to do, because they're his title contenders. But now Matt Kenseth is back out front at Martinsville, at Bristol. Coming at 40 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. Kenseth trying to work on passing the 80 of Zachary, but Zachary, he wants to pass the 5 of Terry Labonte, because Terry Labonte is for position for Zachary Smithly, so Zach's got to go around the outside of him, pass him. Now will Terry try to hold up Kenseth and maybe push him back into Johnson? Kind of did that a little bit, but Kenseth drifted up the track just a scotch. Seems like Kenseth's going to be able to hold it a little bit. He's going to be a little bit worried about the 5 of Terry Labonte. In all honesty, if I was Matt Kenseth and I was racing a Hendrick driver and I'm now behind another Hendrick driver that's going to be a lap down, I'd be worried too. You see the other Hendrick driver, the third one tonight, Jeff Gordon, stuck behind a bunch of lap traffic. Tony Stewart's back there. Harvick's back there. Unfortunately, guys like Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, and Jeremy Mayfield, they're a lap down, unfortunately. But Tony Stewart, who still sits 4th, stuck behind a bunch of lap cars. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon, I believe, is out ahead of all of them. He is now. He just got around to the inside of Casey Mears. 5th place, Jeff Green. There you see the 97 of Kurt Busch, who had a really good night, and now it's going to amount to nothing. A little bit further back, there you see Elliott Salin, the 38. He currently runs in 10th. So that number 38 M&M's 4 Fusion, or number 38 Ford, I don't think it was a Fusion. I don't think Fusions were a thing in 2003. But that Ford is sitting in 10th. Meanwhile, another Ford in Matt Kenseth is leading this race with 3 cars in between himself and Jimmy Johnson. Johnson going to go right on the outside of Terry Labonte. Going to try to see if he can maybe get the spot, get the position. Will Terry give it to him? I don't think Terry will, because Terry's in a little bit of a fight of his own, but Johnson's also saying, I got a race to win. Johnson's probably probably saying to him, you gotta let me go. Kenseth's running away. You're not my fight. We both know we're not racing each other, but I know I'm racing Matt. Just gotta give me the spot, give me the position. Even though really Johnson would just be out ahead of Terry Labonte, he's only a lap down. But whatever can help Jimmy Johnson in any way, shape, or form is what's going to propel him to Matt Kenseth. And Kenseth right now is pulling away because these two battling it out. And Terry not giving it to Johnson, but it's not what Terry does either. Terry doesn't pull over and give the position to anybody. Meanwhile, up ahead, you see Kenseth to the inside of Nadeau. See Zachary, he passed Nadeau. Now he's working on passing Robby Gordon in the 11 of Brett Bodine. Zachary gets in the back of Bodine. That 11 car has been everywhere so far tonight. And recently has been on the front bumper of the 80 car. Zachary makes another 3-wide move to pass not only Robby Gordon, but also Brett Bodine. Add more of an issue to Matt Kenseth. But is Johnson anywhere near the 17 to capitalize? It doesn't look like he is. But Bodine is not making this easy on the number 17 car. Kenseth trying to beat to the inside. Bodine not making it easy, and his Ford Taurus fellow compatriot, that's what it was, Ford Taurus, that's what they were in 2003, I forgot. But Kenseth finally gets to the inside of Brett Bodine. He finally passes him. And now there are 4 cars in between Matt Kenseth and Jimmie Johnson as they are coming to 27 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. But now Kenseth's he's got to pay attention, because now he's got 2 Pontiacs and Johnny Benson and Mike Skinner ahead of him. Zachary Smithley's still ahead of Kenseth, but Zachary's able to pull away. Zachary might pass the next 2 cars and Ward Burton and Dale Jarrett to put more distance between himself and Kenseth, because Zach doesn't want to go a lap down. So he's trying to prevent that in any which way he can, but because Kenseth is stuck behind so many lap cars, Johnson's reeling him back in. Got 25 to go. Johnson has enough time, but time is running out. Each lap that goes by here at Bristol is around 15 to 16 seconds. 15 to 16 seconds a lap. It is not that much time for Jimmie Johnson in the 48, but he's going to try to make it as much time as he possibly can. Matt Kenseth just running the higher line, just trying to see if he can do anything. Gets the outside of Jerry Nadeau. Johnson is getting around is on the inside of Brett Bodine. Now there's no cars in between Kenseth and Johnson. And the cars that are in front of Kenseth are not making it any easier on him. But unfortunately, I think Kenseth has the wrong line, because Mike Skinner's up there and he's mainly holding up Schrader and he's holding up Kenseth now. The inside line is going. Here comes Johnson off of turn 4. Can he grab the lead? No! He can't do it, but Kenseth holds it. But for how long? Off turn number 2, Johnson grabs the lead over Kenseth. 160,000 fans here in Thunder Valley just got off of their seats just to witness this battle between Johnson and Kenseth in the final 21 laps of this event. Jimmie Johnson holds it on the inside, but he knows now that Mike Skinner's now ahead of him. He was the main reason why the outside line wasn't going. Is he going to be the main reason why the inside line doesn't go now? Dale Jarrett's kind of the reason why the outside line isn't moving either, but Jarrett has some worn out tires. He's just trying to make it the last 20 laps. Johnson trying to find a different line to pass Skinner. Skinner is not making it any easy on Johnson. Kenseth is still there. We can only imagine how hungry Matt Kenseth is for that first win of 2003. We've been asking the question all season long, and I think tonight might be the night. Can he get the run on the outside? He does. Johnson still leads the lap, but here comes Kenseth. Can he get a better run off of turn 2? He's going to build it up and continue to build it up. He doesn't get a good run off that corner. He's going to try it again in 3. This is the only way for Kenseth to grab the lead and pass Johnson off of the corner. Johnson still holds it. Can he get him here? Johnson gets squirrely. Johnson got really squirrely. Here comes Kenseth on the outside of Johnson. Skinner pulls in front of Johnson. Matt Kenseth back out front of Bristol. 16 to go. Matt Kenseth is back out front of Bristol. And now a car separates him and Johnson. But he's got 2 more in front of him that he can put in between himself and Johnson. Because Johnson might make easy work of Skinner, but so far Mike Skinner has not made it easy on either of the 2 leaders. Schrader just passed Johnson. Now there's 2 in between them. Kenseth on the inside of Robby Gordon, trying to put him a lap down, trying to put another car between him and Johnson. He's trying to do the same thing to Nadeau, but look at Kenny Wallace in the 23. He's been pretty slow all night. Kenseth has to make quick work of Nadeau. It looks like he does. He made quick work of Robby Gordon. He's going to make quick work of Jerry Nadeau. Here comes Schrader, though. Watch out for Schrader. Kenseth on the inside of Kenny Wallace. Schrader pushing Kenseth through. Ken Schrader is going to be a problem for Kenseth, but so far he's doing a really good job at helping him out. Now they're behind Craven. Craven's been pretty slow as well. Look back to Johnson, still stuck behind Skinner. We have no idea if Jimmy Johnson could get back around Mike Skinner. It might happen, but will it be too little too late? It's a 3 wide in front. Holy moly. What a ballsy move by Ken Schrader on the 49 to go 3 wide with a lap car in the leader. It worked out though, but oh my God. Kenseth still holds it. He's got 10 laps. 10 laps left until Kenseth can finally stop being asked the question of whether or not he can win. He has dominated races so many times this season. He has come so close so many times this season to a race win. And it just seems like that Kenseth has always had something preventing him from winning a race. He has come so close so many times, whether he was dominating the race weekend or just dominating the race, or he wasn't dominating at all, but he was there at the end. The heartbreaking moment for Kenseth was back at Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600. Kenseth did say that it was really cool for another rookie to win that race, but he wanted it more than anybody. Tonight can be Kenseth's night. He has 7 laps, but Johnson finally passed Skinner, but he's got to pass 4 more cars to get to Kenseth. Kenseth just has to keep running his race, and he'll finally get that victory. He's got 6 laps. Matt Kenseth has also watched his teammates, Greg Biffle and Jeff Burton, go to victory lane. Kurt Busch has come so close. Mark Martin, last time out of Michigan, came so close. And you just have to wonder if Roush has something under the hood of all 5 of their cars. Especially for Kenseth and Kurt's and now Martin's. They've been really, really fast in recent weeks. We just didn't know if they could win. Last week could have gone to Martin, but it went to Junior. This week, it could have gone to Johnson. And now it looks like it's going to go to Kenseth. Well, we can't say it yet because he's got 3 laps remaining. Schrader on the inside of Kenseth, but Schrader's got fresher tires. So Kenseth might give it to him. That will put 1 car in between him and Johnson. Can Johnson make quick work of Nadeau, or will it not be enough? 2 laps to go at Bristol. Johnson passes Nadeau. Now he's going to make quick work of Robby Gordon, but Kenseth is continuing to lead as they head down the back into 3 and 4. Matt Kenseth is going to see the white flag one more time at Bristol as Johnson is trailing Robby Gordon. He has to pass him in 1 and 2 to get a chance. Never mind, Kenseth just passed 2 more cars. Matt Kenseth is finally going to do it. He is a Winston Cup winner in 2003. Finally, after 24 races deep into the season, Matt Kenseth, under the lights in Bristol, gets the job done and wins. Congratulations to Matt Kenseth. My oh my, does it ever feel good as a play-by-play announcer or a race car, or as a racer alongside Matt Kenseth, to finally say Matt Kenseth has finally won a race. Ugh. It don't get much better than that, folks. It really doesn't get any better than that. Whew. What a finish. What a race. What a finish. Goodness gracious. Matt Kenseth finally does it. And now we can stop asking the question on if and when he's going to do it, because now we can finally say he has done it. Now, can he do it again? Can he win another time this season? Which, take this as you will, but with 12 races remaining, he's got plenty of chances to do it again. I promise you. Oh, man. But with that, let's go on ahead and check out the finishing results for tonight's race. Finally, after 24 races, Matt Kenseth wins here at Bristol in Thunder Valley, getting Jack Roush's 5th win of the season for Roush Racing and Ford's 5th win of the season, as pretty much this entire season has been dominated by either the Chevys or Dodges, and even then the Dodges really haven't been that dominant pretty much. But actually no, not 5th, 6th. Dale Jarrett won. I forgot. I don't know why I forgot Dale Jarrett won a race. I just now remember that Dale Jarrett won a race, and he was he's in a Ford. Actually scratched that 7 because also so is Ricky Rudd. Man, I have everything mixed up today. So he gets Ford their 7th win of the season, and his first for car number 17 and 5th for the Roush Racing organization. It's also their first win since Jeff Burton won the first Michigan race, which is absolutely insane, by the way. But after that, Matt Kenseth wins it. Jimmy Johnson finishes in 2nd after dominating the race. Comes home with a P2. Jeff Gordon finishes in 3rd. Kevin Harvick in 4th. Tony Stewart with the top 5. Jeff Green in 6th. Ryan Newman 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8th. Joe Nemechek in 9th. And Elliott Sadler rounds out the top 10 here in Thunder Valley. Wow, can't get any better than that for good old Elliott. Now can it? Then you got Zachary Smithley in 11th. Robby Gordon in 12th. Jerry Nadeau in 13th. Terry Labonte in 14th. Tony Raines 15th. Greg Biffle in 16th. Rusty Wallace 17th. Michael Waltrip in 18th. Jay McMurray 19th. And Mark Martin running out the top 20. Then you got Ricky Rudd in 21st. Sterling Marlin 22nd. Jerry Mayfield 23rd. Jack Sprague 24th. Steve Park 25th. Dave Blaney in 26th. Ward Burton 27th. Jeff Burton in 28th. Dale Jarrett in 29th. And Todd Bodine in 30th. Then you got Kyle Petty 31st. Bob Labonte in 32nd. Johnny Benson 33rd, Casey Mears in 34th, Kenny Walls in 35th, Ricky Craven in 36th, Mike Skinner in 37th, Kurt Busch 38th, excuse me, Jimmy Spencer 39th, and Bill Elliott finishes in 40th. And the final 3 finishing positions of Ken Schrader in 41st, John Andretti 42nd, and Brett Bodine in 43rd. Woohoo. Probably one of the fastest races that I've done so far on the channel. And also still a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. Still a lot of fun. And I feel like it's only going to get even more fun from here because, ladies and gentlemen, I can finally say that we're finally going to do it. We are going to have a midweek race. And the next one will be the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington. The first midweek race for real this time that we are going to have this season. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the fact I'm even able to get this play-by-play version out as fast as I did, this has to be the fastest I think I've ever gotten a play-by-play out, which is a day after the regular or the in-car version. So this is the fastest, and I'm hoping I can keep it up with this way too, because I got some plans over the next couple weeks, let me tell you. But next race is Southern 500 at Darlington. Before we jump in, or before we get out of here and all that, I think it's time we take a look at the points standings coming out of Bristol tonight. So, coming out of Bristol, Zachary Smithley is still the points leader. However, his points lead has dwindled to now a new second place contender, Jimmy Johnson in P2. And you got Jeff Gordon in 3rd. Ryan Newman in 4th. Matt Kenseth, tonight's race winner, is now up to 5th. Ricky Rudd is in 6th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in 7th. Kurt Busch in 8th. Kevin Harvick in 9th. And Jeff Green has found his way back inside the top 10 in the points standings. So, 2 RCR cars to the top 10. We'll see if they can keep that until the season's end. Part of me thinks they can. You got Bill Elliott in 11th, Jay McMurray in 12th, Jeff Burton in 13th, Dale Jarrett 14th, Bob Labonte in 15th, Tony Stewart up to 16th, Mark Martin is in 17th, Jerry Nadeau in 18th, Michael Waltrip in 19th, and Jerry Mayfield running out the top 20. Then Terry Labonte in 21st, Sterling Marlin 22nd, Greg Biffle's in 23rd, Rusty Wallace in 24th, Tony Raines 25th, John Andretti 26th, Elliott Sadler 27th, Joe Nemechek 28th. Robby Gordon is now up to 29th. He's having a career resurgence with DEI in that number 1. I tell you what. And Casey Mears runs to the top 30. So there you have it for that. And you got Johnny Benson in 31st. Kyle Petty 32nd, Steve Park 33rd, Dave Blaney in 34th, Ricky Craven 35th, Kenny Walls in 36th, Ward Burton 37th, Jimmy Spencer 38th, Topadine 39th, and Ken Schrader in 40th. And Larry Foy in 41st, Mike Skinner in 42nd, Jack Sprague in 43rd, Jason Keller 44th, Scott Pruitt in 45th, Mike Wallace 46th, Christian Fittipaldi 47th, Casey Atwood in 48th, Hermie Seller 49th, and Boris Said in 50th. Then Kerry Earnhardt 51st, Shelby Howard in 52nd, Buckshot Jones in 53rd, Derek Cope 54th, Brett Bodina's up to 55th, Kirk Shelmerdines at 56th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in 57th, Kevin LePage at 58th, Morgan Shepherd 59th, and David Green in 60th. Whew. Oh boy, oh boy. What a race. And I cannot wait for tomorrow on Wednesday, because like I said, that is going to be the first midweek race that we're going to have this season, and it's going to be at Darlington. And once again, it is going to be the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington. And we haven't released anything schedule related for the 2004 season, but I will say this right now. The Southern 500 that is taking place this time around, or this season rather, it is going to be the last Southern 500 on Labor Day weekend. And this race, it will get moved to a different part of the schedule. We don't know exactly where in the schedule it's going to get moved to, but it will in fact get moved to a different part of the schedule. And to be honest with you, wherever it goes, hopefully whatever it lands on, it'll be hopefully all right, I think. Hopefully. That's the main goal. But last race on Labor Day weekend, it might not seem like it in the sim, but or rather here in IRL, because it is middle of July. So keep that in mind for when we jump into all of that. So yeah, just want to mention that. And like I said before, hopefully there'll be some news coming out about the 2004 season, whether it's a schedule change, a rule change, anything like that, and I'll keep you all updated on that probably after all this craziness with NASCAR, with the NASCAR Racing Series. We'll just have to see. But thank you all so much. I love you all to death. You guys are the best, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow for the in-car version of the first midweek race of 2003 at Darlington. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification below for some more. And I'll see you all later. Have a great day, everyone. Love you all so very much, and goodbye.